So in this video, I'm going to give you my top 3 tips on how you can get more clients for your video business or for your photography business. And I guarantee in these 3 tips that I'm going to give you in this video, these are not tips that anyone else talks about. So what gives me the right to be able to give you these 3 tips? They've been working for me for the past, say, 9 years now. And spoiler alert, it has nothing to do with the camera and how I shoot. It happens to deal with all the stuff without the camera that a lot of people, especially in the arts, don't implement, don't think about, and don't spend any time on. They honestly probably should spend more time on these 3 tips that I'm going to give you, and you'd probably make a lot more money, get a lot more clients, and actually find success in the things you actually want to be creating in. And some of my credits just a list, but I'm just going to give you some so you know I'm not just some other YouTube hack trying to give you some more tips. So some of the people I've got to work with is UFC fighters, NFL players, multiple high-end luxury real estate companies, and also LPGA players and PGA Tour players, and a lot of big influencers in all of those fields. Those are just some of the things that I've already done. I'm trying to offer some value to you guys so that way you can go out there and start getting some things done of your own. It's not about this stuff right here. As unsexy as that is, there were times when I only was able to own 1 camera body, 1 battery, and 1 lens, and I had to make it work. And that was at the very beginning of my career when I started filming. Honestly, I made it work. I got hired for really big shoots, even though there were other filmmakers out there that had way better equipment, way better gear. After some time had gone on and talking to multiple of my clients, building relationships with them, I can now put together the common thread of things that everybody really enjoys about working with me. This is my number 1 tip right here. This is called a calendar. And in the orange, these are all my film dates for the month. There's a lot of dates where I'm actually not filming, and that is on purpose. It's not the beginning of my career where you're going to take on anything and everything. You need to invest into spending time with your calendar and giving yourself enough time to be able to edit in between there. Because if you just take on all these projects left, right, and center, which all of us can do, you are going to fumble so hard on the editing, and you're going to rush through. You're overloading yourself. And I get it, you want to make money, but all money isn't good money. You got to be smart about these things because you could be leaving a lot on the table, because if you get all these projects filmed, you still got to edit these things up, and you want to be able to give yourself enough time to be able to do that. So my first tip is going to be invest in a calendar. Use Apple Calendar, use a Google Calendar, and use an actual physical calendar so you don't mess up and double book yourself. Life happens, things happen, of course, but these are the best things to start getting you on that fast track to working with higher end clients that are very structured out. Especially if you're going to work in high end luxury real estate, they don't have time to work around your double booking schedule. Things like this matters. This is like 15-20 bucks on Amazon. I'll link it below so you guys can definitely pick yourself up one. We can give you the fanciest gear in the world, but you show up late or you show up at the time when you're supposed to be, hey, hit and record and filming, that's a massive problem. And if you've been able to get away with that so far of right now, and you've ever looked at yourself and been like, man, I really want to start working with people who can pay more. Well, you don't treat yourself like a business, so why should anyone else try to pay you more as if you are one? Get organized, use a calendar, use a planner, and use a physical thing that you can see every single day in your house, in your room. Always update that thing, and it will save you a lot of headache and also put you in some good spots to work with some high-end clients. So tip number 2, you need to niche down. Now, there's 2 different types of people I'm talking to in this. If you're the beginner videographer, photographer, whatever, shoot anything and everything in the very beginning. Get all the experience you can, because in that experience, you will find out what you do like and what you don't like. Why I say niche down is because you are going to travel much faster in one industry versus trying to chase 10. Like for instance, weddings. I am not ever going to do a wedding. It's never going to happen, because principle wise, I know that there's other people that you can get for that kind of money. So if you're willing to spend that, let me at least point you in the direction of people who I know who specialize in this and can get it going for you today. It's like, it's not worth it. The relationship is worth it much more. So that way later in the future, I know that they'll call me back for whatever else that they need. But it all comes down to being reliable. So how we circle back in to number 2, which is niching down, is in 2020, I wanted to do nothing but golf. I wanted to stop everything else, which my background is in athletics, doing boxing, and a bunch of this other stuff. If I already know without a camera, I love being around sports, what do you think I'm gonna have the most fun maybe filming? Sports. If you're at a stage in your career where you can go ahead and pick and choose who and when you want to work, niche down to exactly where you want to work and where you want to go. And you will get there a lot faster versus chasing 10 other different rabbits. Because sometimes you're gonna get a call for some really awesome gig with your favorite fighter, but you booked this bar mitzvah you gotta shoot. Things like that where you can really shoot yourself in the foot if you don't be strategic about this. If you only wanna shoot this type of content, then why are you shooting all this other stuff? There's other ways to make money. And guaranteed, if you went full force into the thing you actually wanted to shoot, you'd probably get there faster in a sprint versus you, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. It's not gonna happen. It'll also save your psyche too. If you really hate filming events, then don't do events. Go and film the thing that you want to do. People, it's so basic, but that's just kind of like life. Hate all this other stuff that they do for a living, but this is the stuff they enjoy. Then why don't you run towards that? I've always been that guy since high school, even if it was the complete opposite of what everyone else was doing. The guy who's actually passionate about the thing that they're filming behind the camera, man, clients love that. If you are passionate about this actual thing as they are, because that's why they're in this industry, whatever it may be, or that's why they're playing the sport, if you're passionate about it, that's music to their ears. You really have to consider niching down if you're at a stage in your career where you know what you want to film and you know where you don't want to film. Okay, my final tip of this video, you need to make sure that you set deadlines for your clients on when you are going to get them at least the rough draft in, so you can manage their expectations. The worst thing you can have is a client wondering, hey, when's this video is going to be ready? Hey, when the photo is going to be ready? You hate those text messages. You hate those calls. Don't ever get in a position where you have to get those calls, okay? Update your clients. You need to communicate with them and let them know, staying in communication with them, they really feel like they are a part of the actual process of you creating something for them. And they know that you're working on it and it's not just sitting there in your external hard drives, okay? This is going to be able to bridge that gap between clients understanding how long it actually takes to create and develop something, because I always hear a lot of times about creators talking about, man, clients just don't understand how freaking hard this is, and da-da-da. Of course they don't understand. They're not supposed to. They're not videographers. They're not photographers. They're not anything in that industry. It's all about keeping them a part of the process. And again, it keeps going back to this. And these are some of the things that you're gonna need to start implementing into your business in order to get a more high-end client. Not because of what camera you show up with, but it's more about you do a good job on this side. I'm just telling you what has worked for me and other people who I've helped in this business to do what they love and only shoot what they love. So comment down below, let me know if this helped you out. Thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you in the next video. Peace.